What's up, Strike Team? Welcome back to another episode of Full Contact Kata. This should be episode, I think it's episode 3.
3.
Yeah,
It's 3.
episode 3. And we're back today with Alan, who is going to be helping us out as we go over and continue with our Seisan Kata Bunkai, our alternative Seisan Kata Bunkai.
I like how you forgot the number of episodes, but it's your show.
Listen, okay, I don't know. I filmed more than one at a time and I cut them up. I didn't remember where I was. Don't judge me. Where we left off from the last kata, we're doing the Uechi Ryu version of Seisan. And the next move in the kata, you have your hands placed here. You go up, and then you open up into this crane-like position. Okay? Here, up, to there. Okay, so we're going to go over one of the more traditional Bunkai applications, right? So the Bunkai for this is really, really good as is. So we're not going to change much. I just want to go over different ways in which some of the more traditional stylists use it. So what you'll usually see with this, which is pretty universal, is this is coming out either as a strike to the throat, to the eyes, something like that, and then it's opening up the arms. So say you're like grabbing me here in the clinch, right? I'll go up, I'll hit in the throat, I'll hit in the eyes, I'll use that, and you'll go in for the knee. And Uechi, remember, we're thinking street, so we're going straight into the groin, okay? Nothing wrong with that. That version of technique is absolutely phenomenal. It's great, as is. One thing that some people will also add is they'll see this, because the ready position is seen as down here, they will use it as a knee block. So throw a knee. And they'll use that as like a pop off the knee and then go up and hit. And while I can understand why you might want to do that, I personally am not a fan of that particular use as a knee block, specifically because think you're street fighting or Muay Thai and you throw your knee and I go down and block it. What would you do from there? Follow up. Okay, so if he follows up and I block the knee, I don't even have time to get in. Go back. Follow up and then elbow. My hands are down. If I drop my hands, go again. I don't have time to get him up before his elbow hits me, right? So I don't like anything where the hands go down. If he's about to throw his own knee, throw a knee at me, I'd rather just block it with my own knee. Like you can block the knee with your own knee, just raise your own knee up, and it will stop his knee coming in. So there's no reason to like drop your hands down to protect your groin from a knee strike. My bad. And so what I would do instead, what I like to do, is I'll just start higher, because that and that is super good. And then another way you can kind of look at this, because it's hard, you can't drill throat and eye shots really at full speed. But you can drill it as a normal face palm. And one thing you'll see a lot, if you are dealing with someone who's clenching you up, so just grab me here, right, is instead of going here, put it at, and same thing, double palming the face to get someone off of you in a clinching position, okay? Going across like that, using that position, if someone's clinching you, is a great way to escape that clinch. So what we're going to go over first is I'm going to show a couple different positions in which that can work. All right, can you clinch really well with those on? You good?
Yes.
Okay, so from here, okay, you have the poke here, the eye shot here, but again, if his arms are already in, you can just go over, same position, to the side. Another thing you can do, go here. Take an angle and go to the side. So if I step forward, say I'm here, or I'm in my Uechi stance here, and I step forward and switch and change my feet, still in the Uechi stance, and turn and push. Okay, I have this position, I'm still controlling him. There's all kind of stuff. You have foot sweeps and everything from that position. Out, in, pushing. Okay, we're here. We stepped over, cut that angle, and now we escaped. Entered into the Uechi position, ball shot. Right? Now, that is what this is for. You use this hands, you can use it to create pressure to break out of a clinch. And so that's something you guys can drill. Just have someone put you in a good clinch position. A good clinch position. His hands are here on my clavicle. His forearms on my clavicle. His head's at the crown of my head. He has good control. I need to get my hips in, try to straighten my neck, hands on the face, and just push off. If he's too tight, take that angle, push off. Okay? Get in, Uechi position, knee. Okay? And remember, Uechi is self-defense, knees straight to the groin. Okay? So those are some things that you can work on drilling, getting out of those kind of tight positions. Have someone get you in that clinch and work the palm face, work the shots from the video before, and just work on escaping. Now, say again for self-defense, he's about to come in, he's trying to grab you. Just like that. Do it one more time. Go. Now, I did that to stay safe because he's my partner, but as the drill would show you, it'd be to there or to the eyes as he comes in. Then continue coming in.
Oh, Daniel Cormier rolling in his sleep.
Continue to come in. Boom. Open to the groin. Okay? And that is how the kata looks at that technique. And it's dang near perfect as is. You just got to drill it against a resisting opponent. So have someone charge at you, have someone put you in a clinch, and actually work the drills of getting out of it. Because one thing I do want to point out is if you've never done this before, the knowledge of how the move is supposed to work is not enough. Okay? I have done this many times. I'm the guy who's bigger than me, and we're in a clinch, and I'm like, escape the clinch, and they start do the crossface, but do it bad on purpose. Oh. All right, so he's trying to do it, and he's not understanding it, and I start clinching him on one arm, and I can do it with one arm, and he's bigger than me, and he doesn't understand why, and it's because there's a level of understanding leverage and body positioning that you can only gain from understanding the tactile sensation of actually being in the clinch position. You won't learn it from just doing the kata in there and having a baseline knowledge of how it works. You have to know what it feels like. So if you don't spend hours literally going up with your guy, going here, and I'm like, all right, cross face me out. Good. Okay, come back. We're set. Cross face me out now. All right, we're set. Cross face me out now. And understanding how to like get in and out of, and again, that clinch was a little low. It should have been higher up. But if you're not drilling that to understand how the body mechanics should work, and then maybe even going live where he's really trying to hold you, you're not going to gain that tactile sensation. So you definitely have to do that. That was that. So now that we've gone over how to stop this shot, the next thing to look at is the next part of the kata, which is there, right? So come in. I have you in the clinch here. I knee. The next step in the kata, ball shot. Okay? Not fancy, not pretty. For self-defense art, as I say, grab it and twist it. You know, like as the meme says, you grab it and you twist it. It is what it is. It's a self-defense. We're trying to survive. Yep.
You pulling an Oreo?
Don't. Okay? So, and that is the next couple moves in the kata. Okay? Next, you're going to end up in a step here. You're going to be stepping this way. Boom. You're going to do a circle here. Okay? And the idea with that is he comes in to grab me in a bear hug. Remember, he's not, and you're opening and you're hit. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, Diddy.
All right. All right, so that technique is what we call a force multiplier, which means that it is relying, it's hitting an area that's obviously very painful with the growing, but we are relying on the pain of the growing shot to have weakened him enough for our escape, which is like, just grab here real quick, grab around, both arms around the arms.
What?
Both of your arms around my arms, yeah. So, bear hug, right? So we're hoping that the ball shot here weaken this arm enough to allow this escape to work, right? And that's not always the case. You might be facing somebody with the iron balls, okay? Like the Shaolin guys who just have super, conditioning, and it's not going to phase them.
Or they're wearing a cup.
Or they're wearing a cup. If you really messed up and you're in a real fight with a guy with a cup on. All right.
Why the f are you wearing a cup?
Shh, can't cuss in the thing.
Bleep it.
Okay. So it's a force multiplier, but it's not the best technique by itself, right? If a guy is really strong, bear hug me, both around here really strong, and I just try to do this, like, yeah, it's possible. I can get the arm up, and I might still be able to get, but that if he's really resisting harder, that's crazy, especially because we're saying just step out. Guys, this is really hard to, if they have the bear hug in, that you're relying on that ball shot to work, so to open them up. And so I like to look at more other techniques. I like to add some other techniques into this that work even if the growing shot doesn't work, that can still get me out of this position. So one thing that I like to do, and this is out of jiu-jitsu, it's not from karate, but I think it's important for you guys to know, is I'll take my leg and I'll shoot it back and go into a horse stance here and try and get behind his leg. And then I can either pick up his legs or just shoot over. I'm not going to knock him down because we don't have a safe area. And you follow down and you take the person to the ground from there. And then you can push off and get up. Right? And that, to me, is something that works even if you can't get the ball shot in. Say they notice you're going for the nut shot and they're blocking it, or they're just tough. That technique works off leverage and will still help you escape that position. And also, if you're in a bear hug, the most likely next place for that person to go is for your throat. We're naked. Okay? And this technique still works to go down from here. And then once you're down in that position, you're actually in a position where the choke is no longer tight and you can hopefully push and get your head out. Now, I do want to clarify, guys, I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu. I do not, this is not a learn jiu-jitsu channel. This is a black belt in karate, not jiu-jitsu. I would encourage you to go and find either a wrestler, a judo guy, a jiu-jitsu guy, someone who specializes in grappling if you want to work that. But I do think it's important that when it goes to defending against that bear hug and even a rear naked choke, that we have more than just a growing shot. So I just wanted to show another option so that it's in your, in your repertoire of things that you know are available, and you can go out and study that for yourself. After the growing shots, and you do 3 on each side, you have this other technique here, okay, which is you're shooting forward and you're turning, okay? So it'll be like, okay? And that technique, and this is something I discovered while I was living in Okinawa, comes from traditional Okinawan wrestling. Traditional Okinawan wrestling, you're actually grabbing at your opponent's belt. So if you'd have a belt on, and you'd be grabbing, and he would actually also be grabbing your belt. You'd be grabbing each other's belt as you start, and then you wrestle from that position. That's part of the traditional Okinawan wrestling, which is one of the foundation arts of all the karates. And when you look at it from a sporting perspective, like a thing with specific sport rules where you're moving somebody from the waist, it makes sense as a sport. But from a self-defense standpoint, it always bugs me when I have to drop both hands that low, because throw an elbow or a punch, right? If he's fighting and I'm reaching down here to move him, he's going to punch me, right? Because the idea of this technique is you're grabbing, don't punch this time, you're grabbing and you're moving. Oh my God. And you're moving the person, right? But again, if they're ready, they'll punch you or something. And so I just don't like dropping both my hands that low. But what I will say to counter that is I have spoken to a couple security guards and 1 or 2 police officers who have used this technique in a not what I would consider a fighting situation where they're swinging at each other, but a situation where they need to maintain control of an area, and they need to move people around that are being pushy or resistant or not paying attention or not listening to commands, where they've literally grabbed the person's belt that they're wearing and move them aside. And remember, these are also guys who are in positions of authority at the time. So they're using this technique to keep control of their situation, but they're also, because they're in a position of authority, they're less likely to get swung on, right? You're less likely to get swung on if you're a police officer or even if you're a bouncer. So those are kind of situations where it may be useful. I wouldn't look at it more from like, oh, this guy's swinging at me, let me shoot down and grab, here with my head up. Like, I wouldn't necessarily do that. But from a bouncer self-defense security situation, there may be times where you can move somebody. One of the bouncers told me he didn't even do it from this position. The guy was turned around, and he was demanding him to move out the way, and he refused to move, and he needed to get to a situation on the other side. So he went, grabbed, and did the Uechi turn, and got to where he needed to go. And so again, is that fighting? No, it's not fighting, but there are uses in real-world situations that you can take from that kata technique. What's up, Strike Team? I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Full Contact Kata. There is definitely more where that came from, so please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're updated when I drop the next video. Thanks.